Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to another, I guess it's roundtable Q&A session for Neos Land. Today we're going to talk about skills and have some Q&A from all of you who are here. And for those of you who don't know, who've never seen this stuff before, we are developing a game. It's up on Kickstarter right now, and in fact, the link is in the description, or I'm posting one here for you guys in chat. And the game is a medieval fantasy MMO where we, the players, are designing it. And so all of the things that are important to us, we're making sure to get in it, because NeoJack, the game development company, has been listening to these roundtables and been engaging with us and really putting in a lot of things that we've suggested and binding all this together, molding the clay. So anyway, I'm happy to be here working on this. And Jacques, welcome. Oh, let's see. Yeah, thank you, Jacques, for joining us. Jacques is from NeoJack, CEO of NeoJack, and can impart some wisdom on answers of some of the common questions that people may have. But first, now, Jacques, we have this daily item on the Kickstarter campaign. It's the daily tier rewards. And,
that's correct, yeah.
So one of these gets removed each day. So the sooner you get in on the Kickstarter, the more of these items that you get. And so I don't know how many items we have left. It's like 20 items, 19 items, 18
About
items?
19, I think, yeah. Around there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so what has been removed today?
Well, today we removed the dagger, and yesterday was the horse. So
Okay.
those that don't get in, they're going to have to find other ways of transportation.
Okay.
They won't get the super good horse there.
Yes, well, okay. Well, you just have to tame yourself a horse and
Yeah, exactly,
ride
yeah.
one the old-fashioned way. Uh, so now, we've been going through all these items that are on the list, and I think the next one here is Scroll of Identification.
That's correct, yeah.
And so what does this scroll do for us?
Well, we're going to have identification on certain items, so if you get, say, a weapon or something in the game, that you might have some special abilities or something like magical potion spells or stuff on it. So you're going to use scrolls of identification to identify it. They are linked with a skill that you have as well. But the one that you have here is a medium quality scroll of identification. But the big thing about it is it's got every time you use a scroll identification, it disappears. But this one will never disappear. So it's a continuous usage. You can always use it.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's pretty good. And there will be
Yeah.
a bit of a time limit on it, right? I think we'll be putting a time limit on it, but you won't, like, you always have it, right? You can always use it. So very, very useful to have.
So it may just be a matter of that, it has a 30-minute cooldown on it or
Yeah.
something like that, and then you
Yeah.
can use it again. Okay, I was thinking
Exactly.
to myself that might be way too powerful,
Yeah.
but it looks like you've already thought of that. So, okay, so now today you said that we were going to talk a little bit about skills.
Yeah, that's correct. So we've finalized the skill system is going to work more or less. So because we were listening to some roundtables and we had to start finalizing a few things for the game so we can move forward. So if you go to the Kickstarter, I updated it with an image. For those that don't know yet, you can view it on the Kickstarter under classes, skill system, and levels. That'll give you a basic visualization of how we're looking at implementing this.
Okay, so let me see. Can I bring this down here? And for those of you who are watching this online, and okay, so explain how does the skill work? Explain what we're looking at here.
Okay, so skills it works on a skill tree system. So when you start off as you start off just starting the game, you'll have a certain amount of major skills, you could say, like weaponry. One is going to be magic, other one's going to be professions. So there's two ways to increase your skills. There's a knowledge level that you have. That's your maximum. You can increase the skill, and then you have a skill level. That's when you increase the skill. That will be your skill level. When you increase the skill, you can use a weapon or whatever it is. If it's professions, it'll be maybe a hammer or something like that. So it's an activity you have to do. So every time you do the activity, it will increase your skill level a little bit over time.
Mm-hmm. So it's book smarts equals my cap, and then actual use street smarts equals how much I actually know.
Yeah,
or can use it.
But we had to bring in a system where also if you're actually using a weapon or whatever the item is, or that it also increases your knowledge level, but very very slow. It's a very slow increase. Where if you use a book, for instance, to learn, you learn faster your knowledge level, so your knowledge level increases faster.
Okay.
And the reason we did that is in the beginning there's only going to be a certain amount of skill books, especially from the rewards from the Kickstarter, which will be available for people. And then after that, you're going to basically have to learn, slowly the knowledge, get the knowledge level up slowly. And then from there on, you can create your own skill books for others to learn quicker. What's nice about the system, it prevents, like, say players come in at a later stage of the game, they can catch up to the people that's been there for a long time much quicker than other at least closing that gap between them.
So it helps in equalization a little bit.
Yeah.
But will that spin out of control at some point? Does it just keep accelerating and then?
Well, certain skills will have a limit to them. Like, say, for instance, if you look at the image, we have a skill in dagger. So once you get to a certain level of weaponry skill, it opens up additional skills for you, like daggers or different weapons like axes and so on, right? Mm-hmm. Then when you use, say, for instance, you use a dagger in fighting, it will increase your weaponry skill a little bit, and it will increase your dagger skill as well. Mm-hmm. So, but like, say, for instance, the dagger skill, you'll have a limit to where the max is, where it can increase to. And then at that stage, when you reach the limit of it, then you'll be like a master dagger, master weapon, master of daggers, and so on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whereas stuff like skill weaponry, that'll have most probably an unlimited amount that it can go up. But it does go up slower. The higher you go, the slower the increase is. So.
Right, which is normal. Now, I also noticed that there's that you can craft the skill books for others to learn.
Yeah.
And now I imagine that in order to craft a skill book that could possibly get you all the way to the top level of whatever it is, that you have to already know all of that information.
Yeah, you can only craft a level from what knowledge, right? That you've done, that you practiced as well. Mm-hmm. Not just knowledge, but practice as well. So you have to physically use it. So this creates a little bit of a nice economy for people that's using skills and stuff like that, and want to put books out. And you can take these books and, for instance, put them in your library, which allows other people to come to your library, take a book, and then maybe sit there and learn it. And then what we're going to be doing is, like, furniture and stuff like that will also increase your speed at what you learn. So you have a lot of furniture in your house or so on, it will increase the speed of learning. So it will create another type of economy for people that wants to start selling the capabilities of others to come into their libraries and use their books and so on.
Interesting. And then is there any skill associated with making these skill books? Like, even if I'm a grandmaster at Dagger, can I make a grandmaster book right off the bat, or do I have to train up my Dagger making skill book skills?
Yeah, you're gonna. So when the player starts, they'll have a knowledge level of at least 10 points on each of the major levels, right? The first one that we will allow in professions will be the crafting of skill books. So it will be very quickly to get it, right? So we want to open up that very fast for people so they can start creating skill books and so on. Now, skill books will also go accordingly to like your level of like physically crafting a skill book. Will also have levels to that as well. So that if you get higher level skills that you want to put in a book, then you're going to have a higher level quality skill book that you can put it into.
Okay. Cool. That sounds like it's all planned out. We're good to go. I'm ready.
Yeah.
When can I log in?
One thing I will say, we haven't spoken about the combat yet. We're still finalizing that, but combat will your skill points in certain weaponry and stuff like that will influence your damage and so on in combat. So it's all skill. It's going to be skill based on 2 levels, not just skill based as in skills that we're seeing here, but also in skill based as how you play, like physically playing.
Like how well I can direct my mouse and keyboard to tell the computer what to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, we'll get to that whenever you guys are ready.
Yeah.
We don't want to rush something like that because it needs to be done right the first time.
Yeah, that's great.
So, okay. So we got. Have you got any other items that you want to talk about, or we open up for Q&A?
No, we're good to go for Q&A.
Okay. Any of you here in the Hangout have any questions?
I do.
Okay. Oleg?
I wanted to ask about respawn. How will it work? Like in WoW, we appear as ghosts and travel to our bodies, or we have time penalty and stand up after that? How
Well, we haven't finalized the dev system totally yet because we first wanted to finalize combat before we can do that. So as soon as we bring out combat, which will be in the next couple of days, then we'll finalize that system also.
We'll schedule a roundtable for death.
Yeah.
And which is different than evil. We're going to schedule a roundtable for death. Yeah. And we'll go over that and see what we can dream up and do. So we'll make it fun. Hopefully, when you die, like, holy shit, my death was awesome.
Yeah, put it on YouTube.
Yeah. So, okay. Saint, have you got a queue of questions?
Sorry about that. My mic is muted again. I actually do not. I do have questions for combat still, though.
Okay.
I know that's a subject we're kind of holding off on,
Yeah. Okay.
Well, one thing I can say is the building system that you guys have seen, we've actually upgraded it, and we'll be bringing some very exciting news in the next couple of days. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be pretty happy when they hear it.
I know what it is, and I know Jacques wants to spill the beans really bad.
My question, when can I start streaming this?
That's one of the good news that's coming too.
So we're gonna have some stuff coming up. Yeti is part of the stream team, and so we've got some stuff that is coming up that we're going to be able to show, and and stuff that will work out well showing it live too. Yeti, look forward to that.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that what is gosh, I have all these questions, but there's a lot of things I just can't say yet.
Can I ask one while you think?
Yes.
When we discussed about land, you said there's going to be taxes and stuff like that. If
Yeah.
I'm an outlaw, does it make sense for me to pay tax?
If you're not, sorry, second.
If I'm an outlaw, a pirate, gangster,
Well, even outlaws as somebody that's in charge of the area.
Yeah, but I go in middle of nowhere, a mountain behind something, and
It still belongs to somebody. You might not pay taxes, but you're gonna have somebody knocking that door of yours
I'll
to
kill
ask
them
for something.
because I'm an outlaw. I'm gonna kill everyone, pile the bodies, feed the dragon.
Take their land.
Yeah,
Okay, well, what if I'm the outlaw overlord? You gotta pay taxes to me,
Yeah,
bro.
well,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the
Everybody has
godfather. That money's got to flow uphill in envelopes to me. So,
pigeon mail.
now with the tax system and everything, are the taxes okay? Let's say that there's so there's a couple different zones type of property. There's like ones you build on, there's ones you farm on, and I don't know what else there is. But the if you're in a big city and you're on a very popular corner, well, your property is the value, is the tax based on the property value, or is it based on just the property type?
I think it's at this point we're looking at it being based on the area, right? So you fall under a certain jurisdiction, and whoever's in charge of that jurisdiction, they decide the tax rate on things.
Okay.
We haven't gone that deep into setting it, that people can set it for specific smaller places like zones like that.
So Inc., who wants to be an outlaw and live in the woods or up in the hills or whatever, would probably be outside of any city or town jurisdiction, and
Well,
it would
it's
probably
still-
a lesser tax rate.
Yeah, most probably, yeah. And I mean, it will be, there is so that with taxes, how taxes work is a big percentage of it, about 80% of that goes to the whoever's in charge in the game, whichever player that is, and so on. For increasing certain things in the cities and whatever, and the areas. The other 20% goes to the company as basically a gold sink, but it's also to make sure that we don't have buildings standing around empty. That's basically all that taxes is. The major goal of the taxes is, So if he's living way out there, there's nobody that's controlling the area or anything like that, his taxes will most probably just be like 20%.
Unless he wants to elect himself and then
Yeah.
charge himself tax.
Most probably that's what's going to happen, right? So you get a cut back, but other people will find it and it's probably go after him, right?
Or evil that lives in your neighborhood and is going to reach into your pocket.
I'm gonna kick myself out of the town, but I'm gonna take it over back.
So, okay. Do you envision, Jacques, that the let's talk a little bit about the land mass itself. And now you've said that not every place will be suitable for placing or for owning the land. There'll be wild areas, just kind of like in our different countries around the world, that there's nature preserves and there's state parks and stuff like that. But do you imagine that up in a path up through the mountains or whatnot, that there might be a little meadow up there and somebody could choose that to be their homestead?
Yeah, for sure. The updated system we're bringing in is going to allow a lot of customization and things like that. I think it's pretty pretty.
I know
cool,
you want to spill the beans, and I'll let you if you really want to.
No, I can't say anything
Okay.
more than I'll give hints, but I can't say the
Oh,
actual
spill the
thing
beans, spill the beans.
because we would rather wait until it all comes out. We got a few things we have to keep a little bit secret.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I am looking forward to that. Now, somebody asked in chat, and they said, is the only promotion just happening on Twitch, or what other? This isn't the only promotion that you guys are doing. There's other stuff going on as well, right?
How do they mean? Question is, what do they mean with promotion? Are they talking about the rewards we're giving away, or?
PR.
Oh
Press
no,
releases.
we're doing a lot actually. We have a lot of press releases coming out in the next couple of days. Again, we're working with some major websites, that's MMO websites, to do some some live stuff as well. So no, this is it's not just the Twitch. We have a lot of stuff we're doing in PR that we're working on.
So to name some sites, MMORPG, there's been articles on there.
Yeah.
There's ZAM Network, 10 Ton Hammer, anything on PC Gamer?
Yeah, if you go to our Kickstarter page, you go a little bit down. It says news articles, and there's like a bunch of places that's already posted news articles, and then we'll be doing updated interviews and stuff like that, as well as on them as well.
Okay. So there's been a lot of outflow of press.
Yeah. One thing we can talk about is one system that's been released on PC Gamer as exclusive, but I'm not sure how many people have seen that. So we can start talking about it now as well. Is the fact is how we're going to be implementing. So the terrain is going to be destructible, right? So you can it's a voxel terrain. You can go around and you can destroy things. But how are we going to make it so that those, it doesn't get griefed so much, and then everybody, it starts looking very bad. So the way we were countering that is we're bringing in a system where each mob will have a unique knowledge, you could say, or they won't be just like normal mobs that are not very, they just go and kill.
What is a mob?
Like the creatures and stuff that you can kill and so on.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is, say for instance, you go, like, I think we've spoken about this before, but this is now finalized that we're going to be putting this in the game. Is, say for instance, you go and cut off a tree, you're logging a tree. That action that you're doing, logging the tree, will set a certain karma you have with certain types of creatures or beings that's out there. For instance, say elves, wood elves and so on. So your karma will start going down. It's like a faction-based system where your karma goes down, and it increases their detection rate of you, and also gets them to be more aggressive against you. So when you get in an area where they are, they'll immediately attack you, where maybe your friends that don't do anything like that will have a little bit less chance of being attacked. And what they'll do also is, say for instance, you go and you replant trees, it'll do the opposite effect. It will help you gain again karma. So it'll take your faction or your karma level up again with them. And so these, so for instance, these elves, what they'll be doing is, if it's certain areas are logged out with trees, for instance, they'll come around and then they'll physically replant the trees again, and thus repopulate the world. That the same thing is going to happen with things like nodes for mining and stuff like that, like for instance gold and iron and stuff like that. Things that will come around and repopulate these nodes.
So
where they want to.
Let me ask that. I saw a picture of like this gold elemental.
Yeah.
And I was just joking with people about how you're going to go, oh, look at that gold, and you go and take out your pickaxe and you hit it, and this gold elemental comes out and kicks your ass.
Yeah, that's what we want to incorporate. That's what's going to happen,
And so what's is a gold elemental going to come walking into a mine or something like that and say, oh, this looks like a good place to make a residence, and embed himself in the wall or something, or?
So yeah, pretty much stuff like that, right? The humans probably won't just be walking, they'll be traveling underground and so on, because it is a voxel world, so they can, you can go wherever you want to go if you're a mob. So, but like for instance, in like games, like other games out there, you have your nodes that you can mine, for instance, a certain element. And if you track those nodes, it always just gets repopulated over a certain period of time. Now with our system, we're not going to have that. That node that you mined now does not mean the next time or any time ever again that node will be mineable there again. So we're not setting them at specific nodes. They'll be moving around and then saying, oh, this looks like a good place, let me, create some content here, basically.
So basically,
it opens up things.
NPCs creating the world data.
Yeah.
So it's a constantly evolving environment.
Exactly. Yeah, when we release them, it's going to be like we want to see how it's going to come out ourselves, right? We won't have an idea, how it's going to evolve at the end, and how players are going to interact with everything like that. So every action that the player does will have a consequence on the world, basically. If you go and kill a pig and a pig kills you, there's karma there.
That's never happened. It's never happened.
So,
am I the
so
first death
that'll
in the
change.
game? Am I the first person to die in the game?
Believe me, we've died before too. So.
Yeah, because all I did, I looked at the pig wrong. I poked my sword at him, and he turned around and said, "Screw you," and the pig killed me.
Oh, wait a sec. The pigs have to put up a memorial to the death of the evil Marquis. Right where he died. He poked the wrong pig.
Yes.
So we're pretty excited about that whole system. How we're going to do the creatures and like the mobs and stuff like that.
It's all
making them more
balance.
intelligent. Yeah, it's all about balancing, but balancing it a natural way and not balancing it by means of us doing it, right? Mm-hmm. So it's more of a natural way of balancing things, and I think it's going to bring out a lot of great gameplay. For instance, if you go and you mine out a mine or something, and you're digging, you think this is all nice and interesting to do, and then all of a sudden a rock element pops out and say, "Hey, what are you doing? You're not allowed to mine, yeah." And
how do you envision? How do you envision? The forest example is pretty easy. But how do you envision something like, I'm killing pigs because I need the pig skins or the meat or whatever? How do I counterbalance that to come back into favor after I've killed a bunch of their kind?
Well, we'll figure out certain systems for certain creatures, right? But the pigs, you must probably, if you have a pig farm, and you create more of them, right?
Yeah, or I feed them.
Husbandry and stuff like that. Yeah, you feed them or something, yeah.
Speak to the belly.
Yeah. But we'll definitely there's a lot of stuff that we have to still counterbalance and all that, And as the game goes along, we're going to be doing the exact same thing. Like it'll be a never-ending work, But it's just one of those things that you're always going to have to see how it goes, and then change a few things and keep doing it.
Now, Yeti, you haven't been to many of these shows for the game, but from everything you're hearing so far, what is it that you want to do in the game?
PvP.
PvP, okay. So
I PvP. Wow, every MMORPG that I play, PvP is such a huge aspect because it's like, oh, am I using the right combination? Is this guy stronger than me? Am I tougher than him? Am I a better player? So for me, PvP is a huge part of MMORPG, like arenas and stuff like that. But also like exploring the world and building a kingdom and stuff like that. That I just want to get into this game and play because there's so many aspects that I enjoy. Like the Minecraft, I played Minecraft for years, and all that stuff.
You're gonna love it.
It's putting it in together is what's really, really appealing to me.
Well, one thing I think of this game is, especially of all the community's input to what they brought, there's so many factors out there, different things that makes one game good and another game good, But what we're doing is we're trying to put it all into one. So we have to make sure we can balance them with each other and make sure we concentrate on each one. I think it's our goal. Our biggest goal is to make sure that each one that we put in is really done well. It's not just one thing is good and the rest isn't. So that's one thing we're definitely looking at what we're doing.
Now, Yeti, have you seen the Siege stuff?
I haven't. I'm putting everything, like I don't want to look at anything because I want to get that first impression when I play it for the first time.
Well, I'll just say that you can take over other people's land and property and crush them that way too.
Nice, because I kind of I really want to know about the game, but I'm trying to limit the information that I'm getting because I want to really get that first impression when I play the game, so I can have a really, really good, grasp on what's a player who hasn't really looked into this game, what's his feeling going to be when he plays this game for the first time? That's what I want to experience.
I'm right there with you. At the same time, a lot of us are here designing this stuff, so Yeah.
It's hard to be different. Two sides of it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of games that when I first get in, if I'm working with other people and somebody's really knowledgeable, I'm like, shut the hell up. I want to figure this stuff out for myself. That's part of the fun.
Like yesterday with this dragon.
Oh, I wasn't mentioning any names, Oleg.
I was listening to that, actually.
Were you feeling guilty? Yeah, so Yeti, there will be plenty of PvP, and so I think that you're going to be able to get like a good Lord of Destruction title or something like that. So
Until he falls into my pit traps.
Annihilator of mankind.
something. It's going to be fun. So definitely looking forward to either working with you or against you in the game.
Oh, we shall see.
I just had an interesting question pop up. In that age, we had like certain powers, such as religion and demons. Will that be implemented into the game? Like holy power, summoning demons, maybe?
Religion powers is a very tricky thing to put into a game, You have to make sure you do it right. So I wouldn't want to answer that question right now, but we'll definitely be looking into it. That I can say.
I want to do some roundtables on that and design something up.
I want to worship a rock.
I think that's something that should be left to later after initial release.
Yeah.
Because that's like really high level biblical sort of level stuff that
it doesn't have to be, because the Ultima series did it beautifully. Okay. And they actually introduced, Richard Garriott designed stuff that worked really good, and it's really just different things like chivalry and honesty and other things that are not necessarily religion, but when put together look very much like religion, and but they're ways of being in the game, and your choices actually affect your reputation and stuff. And so while it's not religion, and Ink says he wants to worship rocks, well, he can do that all on his own, because religion is really a very personal thing to many people. But how you act in the community and everything can be something similar, and can have an impact. And I think it could be done pretty easily, actually. So.
Yeah, the nice thing with our skill system that we have now that we can be using, because some skills will be unlimited. Basically, it's just a time base. It's going to take you X amount of years to study these things. So it opens up easily for us as developers to add in new things. As we go along, if we wanted to implement new skills and stuff like that as well, because of a skill tree. One thing I would say, like we have magic as one and the weaponry is another one. So at certain points, the two skill trees might intertwine to each other, like to take a weapon and maybe professions, or whatever, it could intertwine, where if you had one and the other one where they could meet each other, and you can create, say for instance, put magical abilities or something on a weapon and so on. So those are a few things we're looking at.
I have a small question about skills.
Yes.
Will I be able to dual wield daggers, like 2 daggers in both hands?
Yeah, we're definitely looking at that. Sorry.
Let's all listen in on his phone call. Oh, he denied it. Never mind.
This is always more important for me.
So, okay, and there's a lot more to come in the skills stuff and everything. We're gonna do some more roundtables, and we're gonna flesh out. We'll keep getting more and more succinct on different things, and for those of you who are watching that haven't participated in any of the roundtable stuff, I really encourage you to do that, because we have put together some amazing things, even from people who thought that maybe they wouldn't have much to offer. and that's because everybody does have a different way of thinking about things. It's just not everybody has, a big voice. And but we try and do these roundtables where everybody gets to have some opinion and everything, and it's been pretty interesting. Some of the quietest people have come up with the best ideas.
I must say I've been really impressed with the way the community does things. Although we've posted how we're doing it and everything, and then we always get some people that saying, oh, that could never work. That players could develop a game and it's going to be all a mess and stuff like that. But so far, I don't see any mess. The community says what they want. People understand that it has to work a certain way, and then it comes out, and it's amazing ideas. I don't even think any other developers ever thought of these ideas. That comes up. So
we have some stuff that we've turned over that we've never seen before in video games, and Jacques is like, "Holy shit! Yeah, let's put it in." So, that's
we're like, holy shit, he put it in.
Yeah, it's. There's so many things. One of the reasons why we're having a flow problem of information is really that it takes time to put these things in and to make sure that they'll work and everything. So that that slows down the initial is like, oh yeah, I really like the idea, but you got to make sure it works as well. And so that has slowed down the progress of getting a lot of feedback from you guys, but at the same time, we have a lot of things that are going to be announced very soon. Yeah,
and also one thing to remember, we put it in now, and sometimes it looks very good on paper and everything, but once you play the game, it changes. People say, what is set in stone? Well, actually, nothing is ever set in stone, We're not going to say this is how it works, and even if it's going to be breaking the game, we're going to keep it, We won't be doing that, Everything can change over time, So we want to make sure that the community is happy with what they have and how it goes. That's our main focus.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Saint, have you seen any other questions come in? Mr. My mic muted itself on its own.
God. Yeah, sorry. I do have a question here. It's not necessarily, they asked in chat why they couldn't purchase through the Kickstarter using Amazon, and I think we should touch on that to let people know that there are alternatives if they can't use Amazon or through the Kickstarter because of their region or whatever.
I have something to interject there just before you say that. It is about Kickstarter, so do you mind if I say something there?
Yeah, sure. Great.
Okay. The question is, with the bonus flags, that's something that you've just recently added. So somebody can add.
Let's come back to that, because that's completely different, and Jacques can answer it and come back to that. So Jacques, what's up with what is up with the why can't people use Amazon at checkout when funding the Kickstarter?
Well, Kickstarter opened up the Canadian one, and so because we're a Canadian company, we thought we should get on that. So, it's launched from Canada, and Kickstarter has a different company, I think, that does their payment system, because Amazon isn't in Canada. Like, you can't. I'm not sure I don't think you can use it from Canada. You have to be American. Mm-hmm. So, because of that, you can't buy through Amazon. You have to go through Kickstarter's other way of buying mm-hmm. and purchasing stuff from it. But it's a Kickstarter thing, like we didn't expect that.
The alternate too is that you're accepting PayPal right on the site, and PayPal's accepted in 280 countries or something like that. So it should work there no matter what.
And also, I want to add to that. We've get this question before, right? Because people look at Kickstarter and say, "Oh, maybe we're not going to make it," and stuff like that. Well, one thing is just to keep saying it and everybody to hear it is the game will be made with or without the Kickstarter backing. It doesn't matter if we can make it or not. That's not going to be a priority for us if we're going to be finishing the game. It's just a matter of how much bells and whistles we're putting in. But it will definitely be coming out still.
And all those bells and whistles will make it into the game anyway. It's just a
that's
matter
right,
of
yeah.
a matter of how many are done when we
We release, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So that's the one thing, and other thing is, if the Kickstarter doesn't pan out, then we will be opening it up so people can that back the Kickstarter can go to the website and back through the website. But at this point, we would rather have people back on the Kickstarter just to make sure we can reach it. I'm pretty sure after our next releases of stuff, things are going to be going crazy.
yeah, if people don't like the announcements that are coming up, then I don't know what to say about them. Okay, so JP, you wanted to know about the banner flags, the $30 banner flags?
Yeah. The question that I had was, so the $30, you can add that to any pledge, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, now does it have to be added to any pledge, or can I just do the $30 flag?
Well, you can do the $30 flag, but then the problem is that you have to get into the game also, right?
Well, that's true, but
so you can do
I
the
was just wondering
$10 pledge. You can do the $10 pledge, right, which is your pledge, and then you can add the $30 to it, and then you're set.
Okay.
You have your flag and you have the $10, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Now, as for the other one, right now you're selling the 3 flags for $30, and me, the customer, I can put anything I want on the flag. Is there going to be anything implemented with these type of flags that obviously is going to be for like copyright or
Yeah.
Good question.
that
Yeah,
type
the
of stuff?
The flags, it has, we say you can put whatever you want to put on there, but we definitely have to still approve it, right? So in case of copyrights and stuff like that, we definitely have to make sure that it's, what are we talking about when people build certain objects and stuff, the same comes to doing the flags, right? We have to make sure that it's decent enough to be in the game as well, right?
Okay.
Now-
Now, is this with the flags? Is the flags going to be year round? Are you going to be able to purchase these flags year round, or is this the only time you're going to be able to purchase these flags?
Well, for the Kickstarter, at this price, yes. The people that come in later, there will be different design flags. The ones that you have now, the designs are only going to be for the Kickstarter, right? But there will be other options later on, but it will be different designs and so on. So.
Okay. And I know somebody else wants to say something really quickly, but I
Yeah.
wanted to also say, with the designs, obviously there is going to be people out there who's going to do copyright or whatever else it may be. Is it going to be server side protected, like Overwatch by the server? Is it going to be player driven, or the players are going to say that's offensive to me, I want to report it? How do you envision the actual reporting of somebody's flag?
Well, we haven't totally finalized that, but obviously, if you set a complaint about it, and you have it's a case-to-case situation. If you have a reasonable complaint, we'll definitely be saying, okay, that makes sense, But at the end, we have to make a decision on it. So it has to come down to somebody making a final decision, and that's what it is.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you, and hi, Jacques.
Now, if you have a copyrighted image and you submit it as your flag, is that going to be allowed, or is it just going to be something that you have to? It's only non-copyrighted images.
Well, do you own the copyright? That would be the
Yeah.
question. Well, if you own the copyright, then I would think.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was just a.
Because you know damn well I'm putting my marquee dragon onto a flag, and it's actually I don't own copyright on it. I own trademark.
Well, that brings up a good question then. Can I then, if I wanted to purchase a Marquee Dragon flag, could I go to Marquee Dragon's store and purchase one of his flags and put it on my property? Do you envision us have the ability to purchase other flags from people?
Yeah. That what it is, the flags gets given. You get one actual flag, but you also get the blueprints of it. So it comes down to the same system. So you have your blueprints, and you can make copies of it as many times as you want, or you can create the items as well.
Oh, now
works.
that $30 price point just went a lot higher. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
if
a
you
really
have
good deal for $30.
exactly,
Yeah.
if you have something that's that's really cool and a lot of people like it, they'll just want it anyway. You make your in-game currency right off there. It's something everybody should have one actually.
Wow, that's crazy. So you get the blueprints of it. That's even better. That's way better.
Yep.
And now that's only going to be for the Kickstarter?
These ones, yeah. I mean, any ones that you maybe get at the later stage, the reason why we're asking actual money for it, it takes a bit of time for us to implement these things. That's the only reason
There's
we're
humans
charging
involved.
For it. Yeah, there's actual work involved in it, right?
Yeah.
So if we after the Kickstarter, I think we might have that available for people to do, But there will be in-game flags as well. Now, let's just make sure that people understand, that's only if you wanted to put your own logo or anything like that on it, right? But there is in-game flags and stuff like that as well, where you'll have certain images already that's always in the game, for people to create flags, of their own, basically. But it will still be, there'll be multiple of the same images, basically, just like other games do it, like World of Warcraft and so on.
Okay, we got time for one more question, and then it's show over, everybody. No takers.
Can I get a ton of beer for my tavern?
I got to scoot.
Okay, see you later, Evil. So
Yep.
Oleg, you need a beer. You need beer for your tavern,
Yes, I do. And a lot.
and a lot. Is this like prohibition bootlegging?
Yeah, one thing to remember with the flags, sorry, just to interrupt, if you're going to have a store or something like that, it'd be good to get in and make a really cool design for your store. It's going to make a uniqueness. People see it in front of your store, they know who it is and stuff like that. So there's a lot of aspects that's very important about maybe getting one of these.
I do have
Depending
one
on what you're
question.
doing.
Damn it.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go. Man, I'm having really bad mic issues today. Okay. My question is, and this came because of earlier we were talking 7 Days to Die. When you're building, does it have to be structurally, sound? Does that take into effect? Like, do I have to have pillars to actually put a floor up, or am I able to just make a floating house if I wanted to on my blocks of land I own?
Well, here's the question. If people want to do that with our new system, they can, but the question is, do you want to? We can have it either way. So it's going to be up to the community what they wanted to do, but there is options for that.
You want like a Minecraft floating fortress?
Well, because we're talking about the voxel system, correct?
Yeah.
And in that voxel system, there's physics involved in 7 Days to Die that, you X amount of blocks out using wood, it'll collapse unless you put a pillar below it. Or rather, the Minecraft system that I can go as many blocks as I want out and just have this thing floating like no problem. I think that could be a roundtable in itself, just figuring out what type of system we want now with this voxel system.
Exactly. Like I said, it's up to the community what they want to do with that question. We can do it either way. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, that is it for today, folks. So, Jacques, thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody else, for hanging out, asking your questions, and all of you for watching. So do join us tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern, and we'll have another roundtable and or another Q&A. I'm not sure which. We'll figure it out. We'll see what you need and want. So, okay, everybody, thank you, and take care.